What's up everybody, Kamahl here, welcome to another video. This is going to be another Warframe build guide. This was requested on the Discord server by our good old buddy old pal Nox. And so we're going to look at the Kuva Bramma. Now, before we get into this, if you do like the content that I'm making, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and if you have any specific type of build via weapon or Warframe or anything like that, any questions that you may have revolving around Warframe, feel free to ask them in the comments section, although I don't really pay too much attention to the comments on my videos just because there's a lot of toxicity that happens in the comment sections in YouTube. So the best way to contact me is going to be by joining our Discord server that is in the description below. However, let's get into the video. So the Kuva Bramma is an amazing bow. It's absolutely spectacular. You can see here the numbers that are just on the bow right now. So before we get into fully looking at the weapon, I want to go over what I do with most of my weapons, which is I use a quote-unquote stat stick, is I guess the terminology that's used for it, with the Vigilante mods. Now, Vigilante mods, if you don't have a weapon that has good crit chance, they're not really that useful, but if you are using a weapon that's got really good crit chance, even I'd say anything above 55% crit, so more crit than not crit, it's good to have these. And what it does is it increases your chance to get a more powerful or an enhanced critical strike. So as you see on my Prime laser rifle, we have a standard viral build with Vigilante armaments, Vigilante fervor, to get those, those points towards the percentage towards the enhanced critical strikes, as well as on the Warframe, you can put one Vigilante mod, Vigilante Vigor, and then also Vigilante Pursuit, so it's two of them. And that's going to greatly increase the amount of damage that you're pushing out through your crits. So we're going to be looking at this with that, and then I'll also switch to another Warframe that doesn't have those, so we can really get a full look at what this weapon is capable of. So with all Kuva weapons, they start out with a max level of 30. Each time you put a forma in it, it raises two levels. So from 30, you put a forma in it, it can go up to 32, up to 40. So 5 formas max. I've honestly found that after 3 to 4 formas, there's not too much of a reason to put any more formas into the weapon unless you just want to flex on some kids. So my Kuva Bramma, I went out and I almost always hunt down the Kuva Liches or the Larvalings to influence the Kuva Liches. I do it with Oberyn. I do that with Oberyn, that way it gives me additional toxin damage, so I could quite literally just remove infected clip, and you see I'm still having viral damage even though there's no other toxin or toxic damage type on the weapon. So influence them, and depending on which Warframe you use, it will influence the damage type. So this build is extremely strong. The build's going to look very, very familiar because it's almost exactly the same as my build for the Kuva Karak. The only difference is I don't actually have a ribbon for this weapon, so that's fine. That's fine if you don't have a ribbon. It's not that big of a deal. This weapon is so good that you don't need a ribbon for it, but that's a whole bunch of needless conversations. Let's get into the actual build. So Serration, obviously, for the damage. Prime Cryo rounds, because you really want to get the viral damage. The viral, in my opinion, has become the most appropriate in most scenarios damage type. I used to run everything as corrosive when they did the big damage type or status type changes. I now use viral with Hunter Munitions just because of how strong it is. Now, Vigilante Fervor is extremely good on this. You can either use Vigilante Fervor, you could also use Shred. I would not suggest Shred. The punch through makes it very annoying to use the bows, so stick with Vigilante Fervor in my opinion. Infected Clip, just to get more damage out of it. Prime Cryo rounds for cold, like I already said. Split Chamber, so that you can be shooting out 2 arrows almost every single shot that you pull. Hunter Munitions, that way when you do get a critical strike chance, you also apply a slash damage proc. A chance to do that, and it's really, really, really good. Hunter Munitions is one of the strongest mods in the game, especially when you couple it with viral, because the viral, it reduces their life by a percentage, it cuts their life, and then slash does true damage, so it's damage straight to their life. It bypasses any type of armor or shield or anything like that, so it's really good. Point strike to increase the critical strike chance on this bow. As you can see, we're sitting at an 87.5% crit chance. It crits a lot. Heavy caliber to increase the damage. The lower of accuracy doesn't really matter too much. This is a bow that it's basically if the lens, and I wouldn't even say the lens, just any bow in the game, and the Tsar decided to get together and have a little baby, it would be the Bramma. And then Vigilante supplies, because you don't have a lot of arrows with this bow. This bow has a very, very small ammo capacity, so with that, it allows you to more easily, I mean, if you have the carrier, you can just use the carrier, that's fine. But I still like to have it because it's nice to have. You'll see, as per usual, we have corrupted heavy gunners. We have them at level 140 because I think that's the highest level I can get. Yep, that's the highest level I can get. So let's go ahead and simulate these and let's see what the bow's capable of. So, like I said, when you fire the bow, what it's going to do is it's going to hit the ground and it's going to explode, and it's really strong. So we have these level 140 corrupted heavy gunners. Shoot them a few times. Out of ammo, and they just start dying. Now, like I said, the Hunter's Munition and the viral makes this bow extremely, extremely good. Now, there's one big downside to this bow, and that's that it has stagger. So stagger means that if you're too close to the target that gets hit, you're going to get knocked back. There's a few different ways that you can avoid this. The way that I usually do it is, if I'm running this bow specifically, I'm also going to be running with Oberyn. I love Oberyn. I think Oberyn is an amazing Warframe, and there's something that he himself has the ability to do with this bow. I mean, just any type of status effect or stagger effect. Now, if you have the grass on the ground, the second ability, the square ability, if you're on console or you're on PlayStation, you don't actually get staggered from the bow, which is great. There's other ways that you can avoid that. You can use basically anything that reduces or removes your ability to get status affected. It'll do that, but I mean, the status or the stagger is very frustrating. This bow would be a lot more detrimental to use if you fired a misplaced arrow, if self-damage was still a thing. It's not, so it's just a stagger. And the stagger, like I said, it's just annoying. It's so frustrating to deal with. I mean, but it's so strong. This is one of my favorite weapons in the game just because of how incredibly strong it is. I mean, a few shots and you're tearing through level 140 heavy gunners. Once again, you're not really going to see level 140 enemies unless you're doing an extremely, extremely long survival, a few hours in, or you're running on the steel path. So this bow, it's really good. It's really, really good. If you haven't gotten yourself the Kuva Bramma yet, go and get one. It's strong. It's definitely worth the headache that goes through hunting down a Kuva Lich in order to get the bow. So yeah, there you go. I mean, this video, like I said, was requested, so I figured I might as well do it for you guys. The Kuva Bramma, this is the build. And as you can see, let's do one more thing real quick. Let's just look at it, why I run with Vigilante Fervor versus Vigilante Armaments, which would allow more multi-strike. So when you're shooting the bow, it does have the time to pull the arrow back. Now, it's not too long, but having the Vigilante Fervor on there just makes it so much faster. It is a lot more convenient to use. Let's see, there it is. So you have a 40.4 second charge time, and it halves it. I mean, now it's at a 0.23 second charge time. So you saw how long it was taking to dock an arrow. This, you barely have to, I mean, you can basically just push the button and then let go. Hold it for half a second, not even a quarter of a second, I guess, technically. And there you go. It's ready to fire. So if you guys like this video, like I said, please consider liking the video itself, subscribing to the channel, and once again, join the Discord, and we have a page or a room specifically in there for Warframe type stuff. Let me know what kind of builds or whatever that you may want to see. And thanks for stopping by, guys. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out!